Uh, Number one, this is the virus study guide I'm going over. So, number one, what is a virus? It's a non living strand of genetic material within a protein coat. Why do scientists not consider viruses to living? Because they do not exhibit all the characteristics of a living. What do viruses not have to do to be considered living? They have no organelles in which to take nutrients or use energy. They cannot make proteins. They can't move and they can't replicate on their own. So those are some of the characteristics they do not have. They do not have that considers them living. All right, so look at the viral diseases on page 1028. 4. What two objects would you use to demonstrate the size difference between a virus and a bacterial cell? So just a reference, a basketball would be a bacterial cell, and then a marble would be a virus cell. So that's like how big the difference is. Okay, it's not obviously that size, but I'm just going to show you. Number 5, adenovirus infection causes common cold, and influenza causes the flu. What is a capsid? It's an outer layer of all viruses that is made of proteins. Number 7, what is inside the capsid? Genetic material. It can either be DNA or RNA, but it can never be both. 8, viruses have several arrangements of capsids. What are the two things viruses have in common? Viruses all have a capsid and genetic material. A protein coat is what they could have also. They don't all have that though. Number 9, how are viruses classified? By which nucleic acid they contain and if they're single or double stranded. 10, how can a virus replicate? The virus must enter a host cell to replicate. It cannot replicate it on its own. Number 11, what do viruses use to attach to a host cell? They use receptors on the plasma membrane of the host. Number 12, what are two ways a virus uses the host cell to replicate? Either its lytic or lysogenic cycle. And then number 13, explain what a lytic cycle is. If the entire replication process occurs in the cytoplasm, the virus's genetic material enters the cell and the cell replicates the viral DNA or RNA. The viral genes instruct the host cell to manufacture capsids and assemble new viral particles. The new viruses leave the cell. Lysogenic cycle 14, a viral DNA inserts or integrates into a chromosome or a host cell. Once integrated, the infected cell will have the viral genes permanently, and the viral genes might remain dormant for months or years. Number 15, the biggest difference between the lytic and the lysogenic cycle. In the lytic cycle, viruses often produce active infections, which means that symptoms of illness will appear 1 to 4 days after exposure, so like common cold or influenza. In lysogenic cycles, the viral genes might remain dormant for months or years and then might be activated by different factors. So this can be herpes or this can be HIV. So you don't even know you have it until your first breakout, and it doesn't happen immediately. How do the new viruses leave the cell? Exocytosis. Exo means come out of, and then cytosis means cell, so it's breaking the cell basically, and or lysis, which means cell burst. Exocytosis, remember, it travels outside the cell. 17, what is the retrovirus? Some viruses have DNA instead of RNA for their genetic material. This is a retrovirus and has a complex replication cycle. The RNA and the enzyme called reverse transcription are the core of this virus, and reverse transcriptase transcribes RNA from the viral DNA. Okay, the viral DNA might lay inactive for a period of years before it's activated. So this again is like HIV in the next question. What's the best known retrovirus? HIV. So again, it might not become really bad like AIDS for years. 19, what is a prion? It's a protein that can cause infection or disease. Give some examples of prions. Mad cow disease in cattle, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease in humans, and scrapie in sheep. What part of the brain does prions affect the most? Be brain. Number 22, what are some ways prions are transmitted? Abnormal prions can be found in brains and spinal cord of cattle or any animal, really. So the hypothesis is that if the spinal cord is cut and the butchering process, the prions might contaminate the beef and then be transmitted to humans that eat the beef. This would be mad cow disease, but this can happen the exact same way with any kind of animal, monkey brains or whatever. So anytime you're eating nervous tissue, spinal cord, and brain, you can get a prion. 23, hepatitis affects what body part? The liver. 24, we did not actually talk about this in class. What is another name for hemorrhagic fever? This would be Ebola, which is actually a thing going on around right now in Africa, big time. 25, what are some examples of a virus that have a vaccine? Chickenpox has a vaccine, polio has a vaccine, measles, mumps, rubella, which is German measles, HPV, which is human papillomavirus. You can get the Gardasil for that. If you have not done that, please do so. I'm a big fan of vaccines. And then this one, these are in your notes or on Google. What are 3 examples of a DNA virus or an RNA virus? And we talked about this on all the slides. Which ones are DNA and RNA? All right. Thank you.